Let's take you into a Java interview room.
Can you tell me the difference between default and protected access modifiers?
The access level of a default modifier is only within the package. It cannot be accessed from outside the package. If you do not specify any access level, it will be the default. Whereas protected modifier is within the package and outside the package through child class.
Is Java a pure object-oriented language?
Java is not considered a pure object-oriented programming language. The main reason is it supports primitive type values. For an object-oriented programming language, data should be represented in the form of objects. As Java uses primitive data types, it is not considered a pure object-oriented programming language.
You are selected. What is difference between class not found exception and no class def found error?
Class not found exception is thrown when looking up a class that isn't on the class path or using an invalid name to look up a class that isn't on the runtime class path. No class definite found error occurs when a compiled class references another class that isn't on the runtime class path.
What is the difference between finally and finalize?
Finally is a block used in Java to ensure that a section of code is always executed, even if an exception is thrown. Whereas finalize is a method in Java used to perform cleanup processing on an object before it is garbage collected.
Just to add, there is another keyword final which is used to declare a variable, method, or class as unchangeable.
Thanks for adding that.
You are selected. Can classes be static in Java?
Class can be declared static only if it is a nested class. Java allows a class to be defined within another class. These are called nested.
Why do abstract classes have constructor?
Abstract classes can have constructors, but they cannot be instantiated directly. The constructors are used when a concrete subclass is created.
What is predicate in Java?
It is a functional interface which returns a Boolean value. It is defined in the Java util function package and contains test, a functional method.
Awesome, congratulations, you are selected.
Alright, so you're gearing up for a Java multithreading interview? Let's dive in. For Java multithreading interview questions, what is the difference between synchronized blocks and volatile keyword? Explain the concept of reentered locks in Java. What is the difference between thread.sleep and object.wait methods? What is a thread local variable in Java? Alright, so you're gearing up for a Spring Boot interview? Let's dive in. For Spring Boot performance-based interview questions, how can you optimize the startup time of your Spring Boot app? What is role of actuator in monitoring app startup time? Explain how ClassPath scanning mechanism affects startup time. What are some tools/techniques to analyze startup time? Java security interview questions? Let's dive in. First up, what's the difference between authentication and authorization? Authentication verifies identity, while authorization determines access rights. Next, ever heard of cross-site scripting, XSS? How do you prevent common security vulnerabilities like SQL injection and cross-site scripting, XSS, in Java applications? Explain the concept of cross-site request forgery, CSRF, and how you can prevent it in a Java application. Describe the OAuth 2.0 authorization flow. How does Spring Security support integration with external identity providers such as OAuth 2.0 or LDAP? Please follow us for more technical interview questions and tips.
If you are a 2024 graduate or a junior Java developer with less than 1 year of experience, The first thing that you need to do is practice DSA in Java's data structures and algorithms. And once you're done with it, you need to know a few theoretical concepts of Java as well. In this video, I'll cover 5 such interview questions that are asked to freshers and junior Java developers. The first question is difference between JVM, JRE, and JDK. Second is, can static methods be overridden in Java? Third is a Java 8 interview question where you have to name few predefined functional interfaces and where they are used. Fourth is related to OOPS concept. What is the diamond problem of multiple inheritance in Java? Fifth is about the access specifiers in Java. Default versus protected is the most common interview question in this. Make sure that you practice all these 5 interview questions before you appear for an interview. I gave interviews for top investment banks like JP Morgan, Citi, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and I was fortunate enough to crack these interviews. And let me help you now. As a junior Java developer, there are 4 common interview questions that can be asked in these interviews. First, being producer and consumer implementation. This can be implemented in 2 ways, wait and notify and blocking queue. Make sure that you understand both these ways. Second, how concurrent hash map works internally. This is another very important Java collection and is used frequently in these investment banks. Third, what if you overwrite equals and hashcode method in a class and return the same value from hashcode and always return false from equals method? Another very important interview question. The last and not the least difference between volatile and atomic variables. This is to test your multi-threading and concurrency skills. Make sure you understand and practice these 4 interview questions. In today's video, I'm going to share my Infosys interview experience. Fortunately, I was able to crack the interview and I got the job offer. I was a junior Java developer at that time, so I had to do a coding exercise and then these 6 theoretical problems were asked to me. First question was why strings are immutable. This is a very important interview question and asked in multiple interviews. Then I was asked to write my own immutable class. When you're writing this immutable class, make sure you know all the keywords and the attributes correctly because you will be cross-questioned in this. Shallow versus deep cloning. Fourth question was how can we write custom exceptions? These 2 are also very common interview questions. And the 5th question was to test my multi-threading skills by writing a producer and consumer problem using wait and notify. 6th question was again a simple one. No class def found error was this class not found exceptions. All 6 are very common interview questions and you can get the answers by looking online easily.